Disclaimer: this video is for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for medical advice. If you have any health concerns or conditions, always consult a professional. Hello, Health Pills friends. Today, we're diving into a fascinating journey, exploring one of the most ancient and precious substances known to humankind, honey. Have you ever wondered what might happen if you started consuming it every day for 30 days? It's possible that this golden nectar could bring incredible benefits to our bodies, but like any food, honey should be understood thoroughly, from its positive effects to potential risks. In this video, we'll discover if the numerous benefits attributed to honey are scientifically proven, whether some beliefs are exaggerated, and what effects may not be as beneficial as some think. Ready? Let's dive in. Honey, an ancient treasure. Honey is far more than just a sweetener. It has deep roots in history and in many cultures where it's been valued as much more than just a food. The image of the land of milk and honey has long been associated with prosperity and abundance, showing just how revered honey has been over the centuries. Its origins go back to ancient times, long before refined sugars became common in our kitchens. Early humans knew about honey and used it as their primary source of sweetness because of its rarity and unique qualities. This liquid gold was also the first natural sweetener used by humans and, to many, was considered a true food of the gods. Honey was a luxury food, reserved for the fortunate few or those who managed to find wild beehives. Today, honey still holds a certain special aura, even though it's widely accessible. But what makes honey so precious? The fact that it's a unique product of nature, created directly by bees without requiring additional human intervention, gives it its natural and pure appeal, especially in a time when most sweeteners are heavily processed. We'll explore how this ancient natural product can fit into our modern diet, and most importantly, if it's really as healthy as people believe. Bees, tireless workers. When we talk about honey, we must also discuss the true heroes behind it, bees. These tiny insects go through an incredibly complex and fascinating work cycle to turn flower nectar into honey. But just how much work goes into a single jar of honey? Bees visit flowers to collect nectar, and during this process, they fly to millions of flowers to produce even a small amount of honey. It's estimated that to produce just 1 kilogram of honey, bees must make around 2 million trips between flowers. Each of these tiny insects works tirelessly, gathering nectar and bringing it back to the hive, where the chemical transformation that creates honey takes place. Each bee produces less than a gram of honey in its entire life, showing us just how much dedication and effort is needed to produce even a small quantity of honey. The process becomes even more amazing when we consider that everything happens in perfect coordination, thanks to a sophisticated communication system among the bees. This allows them to find flowers, collect nectar, and bring it back to the hive for transformation. Bees deserve our respect and gratitude for the extraordinary work they do. Every teaspoon of honey is a small miracle of nature. Bees and pollination. Our survival depends on them. Bees don't just produce honey. They are also the primary pollinators for many of our crops. Without bees, not only would we lose honey, but our entire food chain would face dramatic consequences. Bees are responsible for pollinating over 130 types of fruits, vegetables, and plants. Even those who follow a diet mostly based on animal products should consider that these animals often eat plants that depend on bee pollination. Bees' activities are crucial for our ecosystem and our survival. Some studies estimate that around a third of the food we eat is, in some way, connected to bees' pollination work. Without them, entire crops of fruits, vegetables and grains would either disappear or drastically decline, with profound impacts on the environment and the global economy. Our survival is thus more closely tied to these tiny insects than many might realize. Honey, benefit or risk? Honey is often celebrated for its health properties, but like any food, it should be consumed mindfully. Although it is often considered a natural, healthy alternative to refined sugar, it's essential to remember that honey is primarily composed of natural sugars. About 82% of its content is sugar in a mix of fructose, glucose, and maltose. This high sugar content, which gives it its intense sweetness, inevitably raises questions and doubts. Is honey really as beneficial as people often believe? To answer, we need to explore the benefits supported by science and distinguish between those that can offer real health advantages and those that may be misunderstood or even exaggerated. This way, we can understand how and when honey can be helpful, and in which cases it's better to limit or consider other options. 1. Does honey improve sleep? It's often said that taking a spoonful of honey before bed can improve sleep quality. This theory is based on the idea that honey can stimulate the production of tryptophan, an amino acid that helps with serotonin and melatonin synthesis, two hormones closely related to the sleep cycle and relaxation. However, it's important to note that this effect is primarily due to a slight increase in insulin, which may not be ideal for everyone. Some studies indicate that raising insulin levels can negatively impact blood sugar levels and be harmful to those trying to maintain stability, such as people with insulin resistance or blood sugar issues. So, while some individuals may benefit from this effect of honey, it may not be the best choice for others. In general, it's advised to monitor your own reactions and, if needed, consult a professional before adopting honey as a regular sleep aid. 2. Does honey enhance learning and reduce anxiety? Another common claim is that honey can help improve concentration and reduce anxiety. This is because the glucose in honey provides a quick and accessible energy source for the brain, which can offer an immediate boost in clarity and focus. However, this effect is typically short-lived. After the initial spike in blood sugar, there's a subsequent drop in energy. This means that the feeling of increased concentration is temporary and can be followed by fatigue or lethargy due to the sudden drop in blood sugar. For those who want stable, lasting concentration, it's better to rely on foods that maintain steady blood sugar levels, like proteins, fiber, and healthy fats. These nutrients release energy more gradually, avoiding the highs and lows associated with foods high in simple sugars, such as honey. 3. Benefits for gut health. Among the most frequently attributed benefits of honey are those related to gut health. Honey contains small amounts of prebiotics, compounds that support the growth of beneficial bacteria living in our intestines. One of these prebiotics present in honey is fructooligosaccharides, FOS, which helps nourish beneficial bacteria in the digestive tract, promoting a healthy and diverse microbiome. A balanced gut microbiome is essential for good digestion and can positively impact the immune system. However, it's worth noting that the amount of FOS and other prebiotics in honey is relatively low compared to what's found in other prebiotic-rich foods like garlic, onions, and rye. So, while honey can provide a small boost to our microbiome, it alone is not enough to bring about significant improvement in gut health. A diet rich in various types of fiber and prebiotic foods is essential for maintaining a healthy gut. 4. Honey for weight control and nutrients. Honey is often praised as a source of essential nutrients for our bodies, but is it really? When we closely examine honey's nutritional profile, we find that it's mostly composed of sugars, with only small traces of vitamins and minerals. Many of the micronutrients in honey are present in such small quantities that they can hardly provide significant benefits when consumed in typical amounts. Even fats, which some may mistakenly associate with honey, are practically absent. Its main role remains that of a natural sweetener. For this reason, those looking to maintain or lose weight should use honey in moderation and shouldn't expect substantial nutritional benefits from it. Although honey is more natural and less processed than white sugar, it is still a high-sugar food and should be consumed mindfully and in moderation. 5. Honey's glycemic index. Many people believe that honey is a better choice than white sugar, especially for those with diabetes. However, this is not entirely accurate. Honey's glycemic index varies slightly depending on its variety but is still similar to that of white sugar, ranging between 58 and 60. This means that although it may seem like a more natural option, honey can still cause blood sugar spikes, making it a less ideal choice for those with blood sugar issues or insulin resistance. People with these conditions should therefore consume honey cautiously and, if needed, consult a doctor before regularly incorporating it into their diet. Although honey has some antioxidant and antibacterial properties that make it better than refined sugar in some contexts, its glycemic impact remains significant and shouldn't be underestimated. 6. Honey for colds and sore throats. One of the most common and ancient uses of honey is as a natural remedy for sore throats and coughs. Honey is known for its antibacterial properties, which can help soothe a sore throat and reduce coughing, especially during seasons when we are more vulnerable to illnesses. Several studies have shown that honey can effectively reduce sore throat symptoms and calm a cough. However, to get the most benefit from this natural remedy, it's advisable to consume honey by the spoonful or dissolved in a warm rather than hot drink. Excessive heat can destroy some of honey's beneficial properties like its natural enzymes. Therefore, it's best to avoid adding honey to boiling beverages, letting tea or herbal infusions cool a bit before adding honey. 7. Honey's effect on allergy resistance. There's an interesting theory that locally produced honey might help reduce seasonal allergies. The idea is that by consuming local honey, which contains trace amounts of pollen, our body might develop a sort of tolerance or resistance to these pollens. While this hypothesis is intriguing and many people report improvements in their seasonal allergies thanks to local honey, it's worth noting that scientific evidence supporting this is limited. There are no definitive studies confirming this effect, and results can vary widely from person to person. Nevertheless, many people continue to use local honey as a natural method for managing seasonal allergies, relying on the anecdotal benefits that this remedy seems to offer. 8. Raw honey versus pasteurized honey. Not all honey is the same, and this is an important aspect to consider when buying it. Raw honey, which has not undergone pasteurization processes, retains many of its enzymes and beneficial compounds, such as polyphenols and antioxidants, which are helpful in supporting the immune system. Pasteurized honey, on the other hand, is heated to high temperatures to ensure safety and shelf life, but this process can reduce its nutritional quality by eliminating some of its most beneficial components. If you want to get the full range of honey's benefits, be sure to choose raw honey, preferably locally produced, to support local beekeepers. While pasteurized honey is more easily available, it's worth seeking raw honey to maximize nutritional benefits. 9. Propolis, the other treasure of bees. Besides honey, bees produce another valuable substance, propolis. Propolis is a sort of glue that bees use to protect the hive, sealing openings and defending it from unwanted intrusions. Propolis has numerous health benefits. It's antibacterial, antiviral, and anti-inflammatory, and is used as a supplement by those seeking to strengthen their immune system or find a sugar-free alternative to honey. Propolis is especially interesting for those who want bee-related benefits without sugar, and it is available in various forms, such as capsules, sprays, or tinctures. This substance can be a great addition to a healthy lifestyle, complementing honey's properties with a sugar-free benefit. 10. Recommended amount of honey. The USDA recommends limiting daily sugar intake to no more than 50 grams, considering both added sugars and those naturally present in foods. Since honey is almost exclusively composed of sugars once the water is removed, it's advisable to limit daily consumption to around 1 tablespoon, about 20 grams. Those with health conditions like fatty liver or insulin resistance should further reduce consumption, as excess fructose can be harmful to the liver. If other sweet foods are consumed during the day, it's essential to monitor and keep track of total sugar intake. Final tips. Honey is undoubtedly one of the best natural alternatives to refined sugars, but it's essential to use it in moderation. It can be an excellent remedy for soothing an irritated throat or calming a cough due to its antibacterial properties, but remember that it's still a sugar. Always choose raw varieties to get the most nutritional benefits and, when possible, try to use it as an occasional sweetener rather than a daily addition. Conclusion. We've reached the end of this journey into the world of honey. We hope you now have a clearer understanding of this precious food, from its benefits to its potential downsides. Honey is an interesting addition to your diet, but it should be used in moderation. Have you experienced or have tips on using honey? Share them in the comments. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about health and wellness topics, leave a like and subscribe to Health Pills. Hit the notification bell so you never miss one of our new videos. Thank you for watching and see you next time.